Hey, 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 what's going on, fam? Good to
What's up,
see
Cynthia?
everybody.
Fam?
What's up? What's up?
I
I
love
see
my early.
Mello's in the house. Mello says the favorite day of the week. All right,
Yay.
Mello. Appreciate you.
What's up,
Appreciate you.
Rolo? Glad you're here. Hi, Ivan. What's up, John Fort? Fort Law.
John Ford's in the house.
AKA
John Ford, what's up? What's
the
up?
man. What's up, the
And we
man?
got the man. We got the man in the house. The man. All
We'll
right,
just
all right.
completely ignore the way he has it spelled.
Right, right. Hey, it took me the longest to try to figure out what it meant. I was like, I was looking at it. I turned my head this way and look at it. I was like, what is that? What is
Yeah.
it? And he finally had to explain it to me.
It's stuck ever since. What's up,
Right, right.
Kayla? That's my girl
What's
right
up,
there.
Kayla? Good to see you. Good to see you. So what's up? What's up? Third eye open. What's happening? What's happening? Good to see
Hey.
you. Good to see you. For sure, for sure. I see Ivan's in the house. What's up, Ivan?
What's up,
And
Ivan?
Danny H. How's it going, Danny?
Danny. Hey.
And of course, when we here, who's here?
She here.
Our
Rob.
creator is here. What's
Yes. Hey,
happening,
Rob.
Rob? What's happening, Rob? We gotta talk about some more happenings we got happen. We got a new community that we're building. So I want to get you and Dark Goddess. I want y'all to come in and be some moderators in the community. So if y'all are interested in that, let's talk about it. Okay. So we'll have to do that after this.
Hey,
But
Lydia.
yeah,
Hey,
yeah. I see
Leon.
you, Cynthia,
Hey, Sid.
Michael, Iconic Man. What's happening? Leon Jones. Good to have you. Anisha Brown. What's happening? See ya. See ya. See ya. All right. All right. Glad everybody's here. All right. So I am Reginald Kuakaru. I am the founder of Kemetic Centered Living. And here at Kemetic Centered Living, we help you answer those questions that you had about Christianity. Excuse me, got a little bit of bronchitis rolling here. But that you didn't do, that you had questions, but you couldn't ask. You know, Mom and them said, hey, you don't ask God. You know, don't ask God that question. But Mom and them, I wasn't asking God, I was asking you. So we answer those questions, and then we also answer the question, well, what do I do next once you start to leaving Christianity? So for the people who are deconverting, that's what we're talking about. Deconversion from Christianity, because people convert to it, you got to deconvert from it. Okay, so you're deconverting from Christianity. What do I do next? What do I do after I've left Christianity or decided that I didn't want to deal with the dogma anymore? That's the things that we're going to lead you to and help you with and teach you here at Kemetic Center Living. It's not enough to just shatter your beliefs and then drop you off a cliff and just say, hey, bye bye.
Good luck.
That doesn't work. That's like spiritual malpractice to me. And I know a lot of people do that. They want to shatter your beliefs and then leave you with nothing. We don't do that here at Kemetic Center Living. So we pick you up and we'll pat you a little bit. You know, so, oh, poor baby, come on over here. We'll go
Be
help
all
you
right.
out.
It's gonna be all right.
We'll
Yeah.
be all right.
Yeah.
So we do that. We help us. We do a little with a little compassion, you know,
Mhm.
and help you out a little bit. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So
Yeah.
yeah. So go
Love it.
ahead, daughter of mine. What's up? What's going on?
As he just said, I am his daughter, aka Voy-Shay, and my specialty is astrology and numerology and tarot, and I use these tools to help people find their individual path. You know, after you leave, the sheep and the masses, and you want to find out, well, what's for me? What am I capable of? What can I contribute to this existence, to the people around me? How can I fulfill myself? That's when you come see me, okay? And we'll decipher your birth chart, your numerology chart, or otherwise your codes for this existence, for this, what's it called? this play or this role that you're playing, this avatar, this character
Stage
that
play.
you're playing. And yeah, in this simulation, what do they want to accomplish and bring to the world? So that's my specialty. I help connect you to your spirit team, your spirit guides. As my dad and I have said, we do not know everything. We don't have all the answers, but what we have experienced, we are sharing from just that, from experience, from the knowingness, and continuing to expand upon that. And we want to give you the power and the tools to help you navigate your own journey, so you don't have to rely on a pastor or someone else. You don't need the middleman to connect you to God.
Exactly. Exactly.
It's innate. It's within you. Everyone has the power to do so. Everyone is psychic. Everyone has a spirit team. Okay, so we're here to help connect those dots via our individual expertise. So happy to be here with you guys today.
Absolutely, positively. So it is about removing that middleman, because you don't need somebody else to tell you how to think, what to believe, and all that stuff. Create life on your terms, live life on your terms, live it unapologetically, live it authentically as you, whatever that might be. And live that and do that without any guilt or shame, because when we're in that box of religion, we're told how to think, we're told how we're supposed to be. If you do something that's like they didn't say you wasn't supposed to do, then you're in trouble. You're probably going to go to hell for eternity. Like, damn, I just messed up one time and now I got to go to hell for eternity. Like, what's up with that?
One and done.
Yeah, one and done, man. Like, good grief. Yeah. So if you mess up, you might as well make it a good one.
Right.
I mean, make it a big shebang, man. I mean, go out.
Thanks, Miss
I mean,
Rawlicious. Appreciate you.
Thank you, Adrian. Definitely appreciate you. Robert Bush, what's up, man? I hadn't seen you in a while. Seen you in a month of Sundays. What's happening? Yeah. Henry Jones, man, I ain't seen you in a while. Good grief. What's this? Is this like the old coming out party or something? Where y'all been, man? Where y'all been? Justin, where you been? So, all right. Good to see you guys.
Yeah.
All right. Latasha, all the way from Dallas. All right, Latasha, we neighbors. All right, good. All the way up to Dallas is the place to be.
Hardly home, but always repping.
Huh?
I was just saying, I'm hardly home, but always repping.
I know that's right. And I was raised in Oak Cliff, so Oak Cliff, where you can tell the raft from the riff.
Let them know, Daddy.
Hey, Oak Cliff in the house. So yes. All right, family.
I was gonna ask you a question. Just out of curiosity, what's something that you were shamed for by Christians that in your quest in spirituality you have learned there's nothing to be ashamed of and have fully embraced?
Oh my God, as a Scorpio, sexuality, man. Sexuality was like, for Scorpios, I mean, we just into the sex stuff. I mean, it is what it is, because we know how it is a connection from the physical to the spiritual, and from a young age. That's one of the things that, I mean, I see a young lady and I'll be like, ooh, my mind just starts to wandering, I'll be wondering. It's like, oh, you're not supposed to do that. That's a sin when you're thinking like that. Shame on you. Like, I'm human. And really, that was one of the things that got me really to thinking. It's like, as a human, that's such a natural urge and a natural pull. How can something be wrong with that?
Right.
And I was and I was like, it really came down to Christianity said that you were not supposed to be sexual. You were not supposed to think about it. Basically, you have it and you get children, and that's really about it. I was like, man, Christianity is asking me to be less than human so I could be Christian. It's like that didn't make sense to me.
Yeah.
So that was one of the things that really just set wrong with me, was just the idea that sex was something was wrong with it, and that it was supposed to be in this box, and just you felt ashamed about it. You felt ashamed to think about it. When you had it, you felt guilty. It was,
Yeah. Yeah, no, and I feel you, but in when you break it down in terms of archetypes, Scorpio is, like you said, it is the sign that deals with sex and intimacy, but that's on the primal level is viewed as sex, but even the
Yeah.
urge is the desire to connect, it's the desire to
Yes.
know. And that's how Scorpio is. It wants to dive deep into anything it
Yes.
experiences or is intrigued by, you know? So having sex be viewed as dirty, it's like that's, like you said, disowning a whole aspect of our nature, which is the desire to know, the desire to experience something deeply. And
Yes. The
Scorpio
desire
wants
to
to
connect.
experience, yes, connect and experience it at the deepest level. And that's why Scorpio's like, I don't care about the surface. Like, I want to know you. And I think even in the Bible, that's how they describe knowingness. Like, he knew her, or he he knew so and so. And I think that was like an
Yep.
indicator of like
Yep.
they were, you know, having relations or whatever the case may be. But sexual energy in itself is like literal divine creation or creative energy. It's just depending on where you aim it or direct it, if it's productive
Yes.
or self-sabotaging, you know. But
That energy is just part of creation, period. And
yes,
like you say, it's about how you direct it. And literally, a lot of times people turn that energy in on themselves,
yeah,
and what they birth is disease.
yeah, yeah, it's that conflict. It doesn't, your
Yep.
desires are conflicting with your beliefs, and that's what creates dis-ease. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Bingo, bingo. And
Yeah.
that's a lot of times where cancers and stuff are coming from, is that you are wanting to birth something. You're wanting to birth an aspect of yourself. You're wanting to grow in some area of your life. And it's like you're conflicted, and it ends up blocking that energy. That
Mhm,
blocked energy ends up turning into illness,
mhm,
dis-ease.
mhm.
And then over a long period of time, it sets up in your energy body first,
Mhm.
and then it does something to you physically. And
Yep.
that's a lot of times where a lot of times cancers are coming from. Cancers are a grotesque growth.
Mhm.
You
Or
can look at it symbolically in that way. It is a grotesque growth.
mhm. And
Yeah.
even Cancer as the zodiac sign, we are the sign that deals with the or experiencing the range of emotions. Like we're on this emotional roller coaster, and that's why we can relate to many different experiences. But what cancers deal with is emotions, okay? And emotion is energy in motion. So when
Hmm.
you
Hmm.
have cancer, is your energy is not moving, it's stagnant. And I like to depict it as like a pinball machine. Dad, you know how back of your day, you know, they had the little, you hit the buttons on the
Hmm. Hmm. I got you. I got you. Hmm.
little jokey joke. But yeah,
Before the electronics.
exactly. But
Okay,
yeah,
all
you
right,
hit
I got
pinball and it just ricochets all up and through there, creating havoc. That's what
you. Right,
energy is when it doesn't have an outlet. It just bumps all up against stuff and creates havoc.
right, right.
Yeah.
And
Um
Justin Linford says, why is sex looked down upon? And that is actually a great question, because, and I actually did a video on that. So if you want to look that up on my YouTube channel, but I actually talked about this, is how does sex become a sin, or sex outside of marriage become a sin? Because Christianity has been like that for a long time. But a lot of people, they follow the rules, but they have no idea why the rules were instituted in the first place. And the idea of sex outside of marriage became an issue with Christianity because of their beliefs about actually ushering souls into the earth plane. Okay, the actually it was the Gnostics. Excuse me. It was the Gnostics who had a negative opinion about just living on earth as a soul on the earth plane. That it was so bad that they were like, man, this earth plane is just so bad and horrible. We can't bring other souls into the earth. So they started to talk about not having sex to basically bring souls into the earth. All right. And that was something that Christianity went along with as they built, but they ended up building a two-tier system, because there were a lot of Gnostics that says don't even get married and don't have sex, don't have children. And then there were other groups that said, if you do get married and you're in a loving relationship, then you're bringing the child into a loving family. Then that's another way that it's okay to bring a soul into the earth. So that's how marriage became okay to basically bring a soul into the earth. But that was the bottom line is why it became looked down upon is because they thought negatively about bringing souls into the earth plane. Okay, they were ignorant. They were stupid. If we follow their ideas, because there was some that was so extreme that they did not want male and females to have sex, period. If we followed that idea to its extreme, where would the human race be right now?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That was how stupid that a lot of them thought. They were dysfunctional psychologically.
And we've been
And
carrying that on.
those, huh?
Yeah. I said we've been carrying that on generation after generation, agreeing with it, you know?
Yeah. Without not ever knowing why.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah.
And that was why they were psychologically dysfunctional, and we agreed to somebody else's spiritual ideas and experience around sexuality. And you cannot tell me that Christians have excuse me, I was about to cuss, an effed up idea about sexuality. How messed up that they are. I mean, they can't even like consider, it's hard for them to even consider kissing somebody outside of marriage. They got to go like, well, how far could you go? Or, how far,
any type of pleasure is like sinful and connected to guilt,
because it might lead to, even if you like that one little kiss might lead to you thinking about having sex. Oh my God. And when you think about having sex, that's just as bad as having it. So it's a warped mentality, and it f's you up. Is really what it does. It truly f's you up. So
hey, Dark Goddess, I saw you come in the chat. I had to acknowledge my moderator. Love you.
What's up, Dark Goddess? What's up? Good to see you. Good to see ya.
Yes. But just to carry on with that, so something I've been learning to be more comfortable with is, how can I put it? I feel very comfortable in the summertime because not many clothes is required. Okay. Not to say that I just let it hang out, but I am very comfortable in my skin, and it would confuse me as to why that was negative. If God wanted us to have clothes on or if it was bad for us to not have on any clothes, why were we born without them? Like I literally came into this world with no clothes, and I feel like it was constructed for us to believe that was something, or nudity was shameful, or
that was Christianity.
And it's just it makes absolutely no sense. Something everybody has. We're supposed to hide it and keep it covered and just act like it doesn't exist or don't acknowledge it.
And especially for women.
Yeah.
So Christianity, I mean, how many indigenous tribes you go anywhere in the world, the women and the men were topless.
Exactly.
They had no problem. There was no women going around being raped. There was none of that stuff. Women and men were topless. It was just normal.
Yeah.
But you bring missionaries, Christian missionaries, into the picture. And these guys will actually say that the women put these devious thoughts into their head by having their breasts naked. It was the women's fault.
Right. And
these women, they just making me think these dirty thoughts.
Like, how that, like, even having teenagers or growing up having kids, what you tell them to stay away from is often what they gravitate toward, because it creates this like taboo or curiosity. But if there was no if that wasn't created around nudity, we would be like our brothers and sisters in Africa who are just walking around topless, or it's not that big a deal, or the body is seen as art, or the beautiful nurturing temple that it is, breastfeed or nurture. It's not
Yeah.
these
Yeah.
dirty sexual, private parts. It's like most of us were breastfed, and that was how we were given life at the beginning of our lives. So it's like deconstructing these things that we were taught to believe that actually make no sense. And the way that you perceive nudity or sexuality is wholly based on how you were raised or the religious system you were brought up in. But if you choose to see it naturally, and think for yourself, there's absolutely nothing to be ashamed of in terms of our bodies or our sexuality. And I would love to see even more women just being free in that way, and not having
Yeah.
this restricted fear surrounding it.
No, absolutely. I agree with you. And I think that for for a woman to be able to be free, just sexually not inhibited, or the ability to be comfortable in her own skin with her own sexuality, and I
Exactly.
think again, women have been, there's a number that has been done on women. When I say a number, there, that society has forced women to think in terms of that the value that they are as a woman comes from the newness of their vagina.
Mm, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
If she's a virgin, she's more valuable. If she's not, she's less valuable, which is
Yeah.
idiotic.
Yeah.
Completely
And
idiotic.
I know um someone who has held on to their virginity and they're over 30, but it's created this like psychological fear
Yep.
around the action, so much so
Yep.
where it's like this whole big thing, and it's a part of her identity, and it's like a whole part of herself that she's afraid to tap into, or is told that she can't tap into until she's married. But now we live in a day and age where that's kind of like scary now. It's like, oh, you a virgin? I
Yeah.
don't even know.
But
Head
no,
on.
but I know, I have known people like that too. I've known women like that, and I have known women that have said that waited till marriage to have sex,
Mhm.
and they were still dysfunctional
Yep.
in their marriage.
Yep. It's not a switch. Yeah.
It's not a switch they could flip.
Yeah.
And they were still, and I actually dated a woman that was like that,
Mm.
that had that issue. And the husband that she married, which she was divorced after, of course. Obviously, I was dating because she was divorced, so I didn't want to wake her. But
To clarify,
anyway,
the clarification. Mhm.
clarification. But but she was saying that he was one of those that as well that was Christian, that had an issue with his sexuality and wanted to wait before till marriage and stuff like that. And when they did get married, they were both having issues in the bedroom sexually,
Mm,
because they couldn't flip the switch,
mm.
you know. So again, it's these ideas that we've been taught through religion and through Christianity. It f's us up
And
mentally.
what I've learned is sex for women and intimacy for women is way more psychological than it is physical. And ladies,
Yeah,
if you understand where I'm coming from, back me up with that. But it is, thoughts are going through our head, and
yeah,
if it's not aligning with the action, yeah, inner
yeah.
chaos.
No, and then as us guys get older, it becomes a lot more psychological than it is physical. You know, because we ain't that little rabbit like we used to be. So things kind of change. Things starts changing around. We'd be like, "Baby, can you just hold me tonight?"
Yeah, I ain't got there yet in my journey.
No, no, you ain't there yet. I'm just telling you. I'm just telling you.
All right.
Get ready. Baby, just hold me. That's I just want to be held tonight.
Valid.
She be
Those
looking at me
nights
like,
are valid too. I also see sex in that way. Like sex is the act of connecting, intimacy.
right,
I don't
right.
just simply see
Absolutely.
sex as penetration, for sure.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. So we've been going. Great question. Great question. So I definitely like that. Like that where we're going. So any questions along that line? So or other lines?
Yeah, Sharon Callis said, question, why did they say that man was created first and not woman?
Well, first of all, you got to understand that this is the idea of what Christianity was talking about is not historical. Okay, so it's not a literal thing. And so that idea that that a woman was created first and all this kind of stuff, it is the way Christianity has taught it. Again, it is a misappropriation of ancient teachings that basically made women villains. With Eve, and the apple, they twisted again a lot of stuff. But the whole idea is that the symbolic expression of the ancients is that where the universe came from was womb like, not a physical person, but womb like, in that it was dark, it was watery, it was a place where things could incubate. Okay, that they used the female in ancient symbolic language. They used the female to represent that idea, the female womb to represent that idea. Christianity twisted it, twisted it and messed it up for everybody. Okay. So the reason why they say that is that they messed it up, and they basically wanted to remove the feminine aspect, or they wanted to move the idea that God could be sexual. That was really the thing. That God could be anything, that a masculine and feminine that could have sex and have a creation. So that's kind of what led them to go down that road. Okay.
It's Rawlisha says, bucket list for me is going to a nude beach. I've been to a few nude beaches when I lived in Spain. That was definitely a thing. And some beaches are just topless and some are completely nude. I kid you not. I went to this one nude beach and there were nude children running around, nude little boys and girls, and a completely nude man. Like, I'm looking at the whole anatomy of this man just sitting there while it's just naked people everywhere, from kids to adults. There was nobody flinching, nobody was blinking an eye, but my American self was cringing on the inside. But those type of experiences was what prompted me, like, okay, well, I believe this because of my culture and how I was raised. Obviously, well, not raised, but how I was appropriated. They believe something completely different based on how they were appropriated. So just being able to bridge that gap and seeing how everything is agreed upon, everything is based on
Yep.
perspective. Because they
Yep.
were not flinching. I was like, oh my God, she's naked and like 5 years old and he's like 40 something. And it was crazy. It was crazy.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Adrian, I can't do the nude beach thing. So I just but that's just me, and it's not because I think it's wrong or bad. I just don't want to get naked in front of people. Sorry, that just ain't happening.
But the weird thing
Not
about it
happening.
was it completely desexualized the whole experience. Like, it was nothing sexual about being nude. Everybody's like, shoot the sun out. I just want the girls to breathe. It was very different, but eye-opening.
Liberating.
Yeah, very liberating.
Okay.
Yeah. I went on a private beach and was nude, but I didn't have the courage to be nude in front of everybody. I was also a teacher there, so I didn't want, to run into any students and but
Yeah, that would be kind of different. They'd be looking at you like, I saw you on the beach the other day.
I don't
Wait
even
a minute.
Okay.
See one little boy just kind of looking at you like,
yeah. Well, I don't
at least you started thinking stuff like that. But anyway, all right.
Anisha Brown, hey girl, hey. She says, do y'all have any full moon rituals? So, what she's referring to is right now, currently, the moon is full in Gemini. Okay, and the traits or the energy of the Gemini full moon. This is air. This is curiosity. This is amplifying life themes surrounding expression and communication. Okay, and just being light and innocent and it's just talking about things like that make you uncomfortable or that are usually taboo. Like, we talking about sex right now and how it relates to Christianity. Okay, Gemini full moon or Gemini air makes those type of topics just light, and time for it to come out, and it's not necessarily heavy. It's just we're talking about it, sharing experiences, curiosity, and rituals. With depending on the energy of the moon. So with it being in Gemini, one of my rituals is journaling. Okay, Gemini deals with writing and communication, and you can write on any full moon or any new moon. But for Gemini, writing out your thoughts or what's the word? What's it called? Automatic writing could be very prevalent at this time.
You might want to explain what automatic writing is.
Automatic writing is a form of channeling where you do not have you can have a question. So you can pose a question to spirit. For example, why was sexuality, negative, or why were women forced to wear clothes? Whatever question you want to have, you can pose the question and then just have a pen and paper in your hand with a clear mind. It's like a meditation that you do. And you just write whatever comes to your mind. You don't question it. You don't judge it. You just put pen to paper and let whatever wants to come out of your instrument, your spiritual instrument, come out. So that's what automatic writing is. If you have prominent placements or prominent third house placements, it would definitely tap into that this full moon. And the full moon it started today and it's going to end on Friday. So yeah, full moon, those are my full writing, as well as just a meditation for whatever the energy is. I want to capitalize on it. So if the energy is surrounding communication, exploring different topics, learning new things, then I'm setting my intention to flow with that energy and welcoming whatever new things want to come into my existence. Okay, so really just aligning with whatever the energy is. And the full moon is the culmination of it. Okay, so just sitting, feeling, and allowing whatever wants to come through, or whatever wants to be realized. So those are my ritual or full moon rituals.
Excellent. Let's see. I'm looking around, looking to see if we got any questions. We got some good discussion going on in the room. Good discussion. So looking for some questions here. Let's see.
Yes, the body is art. I wholeheartedly agree. These skin suits are very cool and beautiful.
And I wanted to thank the great sent via Cash App $10 and Brenda Shambliss $25 via Cash App. Thank y'all both very much. Definitely appreciate it. Let's see. Looking. What's up, Sarnetta? How's it going, brother? Good to see you. So Sarnetta Studios is in the house. Good to see you, brother. Always. Definitely appreciated being on your show here a couple of weeks ago. So good man. Let's see here. Looking up. Okay. I guess we're gonna have an early night tonight. Nobody asking no questions. All right. Well, I guess the sex thing just kind of threw everybody off a little bit.
Maybe. They was listening. We getting some hypothetical amens in here.
Let's see. Mahogany. Let's see a question. What is a soul tie? Some Christians discourage premarital sex because of soul ties. And again, they'll frame something again in a negative way, and that's not to say that you cannot have a soul tie, but you can have a soul tie many ways, and it has nothing to do with you being sexual. It has everything to do with energy. And this is one of the things where people don't understand about even reincarnation and stuff like that. That a lot of times what reincarnation is about you being entangled with somebody energetically. And if you have negative unresolved familial issues, okay, that's a soul tie. That if you don't resolve them in this life, then y'all can switch roles in the next life, and y'all will be trying to work out the same issue just a different way. Okay. So it's kind of so soul ties and all this stuff, the way Christian is talking about it through premarital sex. let me put it this way. Why the hell does a piece of paper change whether or not you got a soul tie? Why does a legal designation that somebody gives you a piece of paper and say that you're married now legally by the state, why does that matter so much? Think about it logically.
Yeah.
How does the piece of paper change the relationship? How does a piece of paper change the energetic exchange?
Mhm.
Think about it logically. So when you really start to look at these things, whether it's premarital or marital, it has no play in the whole relationship. It's just the energetic exchange.
Mhm. And
Okay.
in terms of the female feminine energy as well as the anatomy, we are receivers. And so when we receive a male counterpart, it does create an attachment, okay? More so for us than for them usually. So energetically, that is also a soul tie. Is that ladies, if you've ever been digmatized or carrying on a relationship just because the sex is good, that's that tie, that energetic tie or that attachment for
And
sure.
I want to speak to the deal about the men though. And this is the thing that a lot of women have to understand is that most of us men are trained not to be emotional. Most of us men are trained to be disconnected. And it's not that we don't feel as deeply, it's not that we don't feel the same like y'all do, but we are taught in many different ways to disconnect our emotions from our relationships. Okay. A lot of times I hear women speak about the male like the males are an alien and they don't feel and they don't have the same emotions as women. They do. But we're taught to think that having feelings, something is wrong with that in the first place.
Well,
Okay.
I had a discussion with my partner, and whereas I feel like sex is a translation of love, like we can translate feelings within that. And my love for you, or once again with women, is psychological. So him, doing things that make me feel safe or taken care of or appreciated or seen or
Mm-hmm.
loved. These are the things that flip the switch for me. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that is translated in lovemaking. But for him, he was just like, it's enjoyable, it feels good. It's not necessary. It's not a translation of love, so to speak, or that attachment. It's not
Now, what's not a translation of love?
sex. It's the way he expressed it was that it's not necessarily I'm not having sex because I'm attached to it. It's enjoyable, it feels good. And I show you I love you in multiple ways. That's a part of it. But for me, the giving of my body or my physical form is how can I put it? I don't want to say the ultimate form of love, but it's like next level trust or
Mm-hmm.
being willing to be open and vulnerable in a
Yeah.
way that is not freely given. It's like, okay, you earned this in a way, but for
And
men it's
that
not
what you just spoke right there is one of the main reasons that a lot of men chase sex. Is because it's one of the few times that they can be open and vulnerable.
mm,
It's one of the few times that because most times the only emotion that men and it's changing today, but for a long time the only emotion that men could really show in public was anger and rage.
mm-hmm.
Today, even today, if you see a man break down and cry in public, a grown man, what do people think? If
He's
he's
soft.
showing that emotion, huh?
It's soft, or it's
He's
grounds for him
soft.
to be taken advantage
Yep.
of, or yeah.
This man card is probably going to get yanked by somebody or he's going to be reported,
Right.
you know? But yeah, but what you were saying is that's a lot of times the only way that men can show that vulnerability and emotion is when they are in between the thighs of a woman.
Mm.
And that's a travesty. Most men would rather explore outer space than their inner space.
Mm. You just said something. You just said something.
And it is the truth. It is the truth. We are afraid of our own emotional well being a lot of times, or our own emotional well. We're afraid of it in many ways. But men do not understand that the solutions to so many of our issues in our communities, especially for Black men, those issues are going to be found from that inner space, which we call the divine feminine, which is the divine feminine. That we have to tap into that more. It's not about being a woman. It's
Mm-hmm.
about tapping into that inner space, that inner environment.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, because
go ahead.
if you don't understand your inner world, it's wreaking havoc subconsciously, one way or another.
Yep.
Sure.
Yep. You're gonna miss something. Let's see. It says, "Hey, RK and Vo, what are the Kemetic views on homosexuality since the Christianity demonized it? Yet we know a lot of scandals happen with these pastors, etc." So I can't speak to Kemetic views, okay? Because in a lot of instances in ancient times, the idea of a man that had feminine traits was not negative. Okay, and I noticed in the case of especially Native American spirituality that a man that had both masculine and feminine traits was seen as something positive. And I would assume and I would bet that it was the same thing in African spirituality because the um, one of the main netters in Kemetic spirituality was Atum. Okay, and what most people don't realize is that Atum was seen as the great he she. Atum was both masculine and feminine. Okay, so in that respect, that idea was something that was a part of African spirituality. But we don't see it today because we see our spirituality through the eyes of what we are today and not what they were back then. Okay. Now, personally, I am totally okay with homosexuality. Okay. It is a normal functioning part of humanity to me.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And has
So
always existed.
it has always existed.
Yeah.
Okay. And who am I to tell? Now, I hadn't always thought this way. I'll tell you that right now. When I was Christian, I thought the backwards way the Christians did. But as I have come more into spirituality and understanding the oneness of humanity, homosexuality, the LBGTQ community, all of those for me at Kemetic Centered Living, they're welcome. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I have no issue and no qualms with it.
Yes.
Is homosexuality something for me? No. That it's not something that I'm interested in. But I cannot and will not tell another human being how they should live and what they should do in their life.
If
Plain
it
and simple.
exists, if it exists, that means God created it and it's valid. Who am I to question it?
Bingo. Bingo.
You
Exactly.
feel me? Like, yeah.
Yeah. So I hope that answers your question there, LA. So definitely appreciate that. Great question. Great
Thank you,
question.
Mahogany.
Thank you, Mahogany, for that $2. Appreciate you. And Kayla for the 149. Definitely
Kia.
appreciate you.
Thank you,
Definitely
Kia.
appreciate you. And then Ruben for the
Big
$50.
boo.
Thank you, Ruben. Definitely
Thanks,
appreciate it.
Ruby.
Priming the pump.
That's
The
family.
sex thing really got us. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Most definitely. So thank you very much. Definitely appreciate you guys giving.
Yes,
Definitely
thank
appreciate it.
you. Much appreciated, especially during the holidays. You know, it's not taken lightly. I know y'all out buying Christmas gifts and stuff. Still found it in you to prime the pump with us. So thank you.
Most definitely. Most definitely. All right. Let's see what we got. What we got here.
Shauna says, turning back to God. I'm not a Christian anymore, but I don't understand why. You are God.
Yeah. When you say you're turning back to God, what do you mean? So, I mean, are you turning back to Jesus as God? Is that your idea that Jesus is God?
or to something outside of yourself, or what's your elaborate on your perspective?
Yeah, because from our perspective, you are God in a human form. So you can't turn away from God. You can't separate from God. You are that aspect. You are God in human form. Okay. So you know, I don't get that one. But I mean I get what you're saying, but I'm trying to say, hey, just think about it. Think about what you're saying, and it sounds like you're conflicted, Shauna A. So just think about it.
Mhm.
All right.
And thanks,
Uh,
Brenda. I saw your comment. Let's see.
let's see. And Tanika says, I want my husband to feel comfortable being emotional with me. I'm his safe place.
Yes, yes, that's so
Yeah,
healthy.
and you know that, and Tanika, that's really a powerful thing to say, because a lot of times women, I mean, not women, men don't feel comfortable being emotional around their woman, because a lot of
Mhm.
times there are a lot of women who will look at a man as weak if he
Yeah,
shows some emotion.
yeah.
There, I know women that have left men who cried because of whatever,
Hmm.
you
Yeah.
know, or that was like the string that started to unravel the relationship,
Or
you know?
something my partner has expressed to me that he heard in the past is, why you in your feelings? Which
Yeah.
is so
Yeah.
like,
No.
it's almost as if y'all aren't allowed to feel, or women are threatened by men's feelings, because y'all are expected to have this fortitude or this solid, and it's like, no, I'm safe space. When you come here, this feminine environment, you can
Yeah.
relax, we can decipher, talk about anything that's on your mind. And then when I send
Right.
you back into the world,
So,
you could be all
yeah.
you can be. Yeah.
Exactly. Sometimes we want to be the little spoon.
Yeah, look, I don't mind being Big
You know,
Spoon.
we
Okay.
want to be the little spoon sometimes.
I do not mind being Big Spoon. I love baby in my man when he allows it.
Right, right. Just hey, just baby, just hold me. I mean, every now and then. Well, I
Yeah,
say us more elevated men, we don't mind being a little spoon every now
yeah.
and then. That
Men
makes
want
us
to
feel
be
like,
held
you know.
too. I love it.
Oh, for real, for real.
Hold your
So
man.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, but I was gonna say too, one of the things we have to think about, ladies, is how we are bringing up our sons, because I just remember growing up how a lot of times, as a boy, I was told that big boys don't cry, you know, or man up, you know. I remember just teaching middle school kids, and those a lot of times were a lot of the statements that the middle school kids would say. If one of the boys did show some emotions, he was ridiculed for it. So we have to think about, really, we're giving these young men these training phrases to disconnect from themselves emotionally. Okay, so you have to consider, if you're telling your sons, parents, if you're telling your sons, big boys don't cry and stuff like that, you're already setting them up for when they get older, they'll be disconnected from the women in their life. Emotionally, it'll be hard for them to connect. Let's see. Oh, you have one coming up.
Yeah.
All right.
Clifton. Clifton Lewis. Thank you, Clifton, for priming the pump with us. He said, "Can you speak to the use of sound and frequency for raising spiritual vibration?" Oh, do you want me to go? Okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
So I love that you brought that up, because I was actually listening to a song today called King Affirmations by Inko, Inko. And I was using that song to raise my vibration, because it said words that aligned with what I wanted to project with the universe. And, sound and music, it creates feeling and emotion. So if we can find a sound or a song that matches the vibrational frequency that we want to emit, it's like doubly powerful. It's like it's like megaphone, like our voice already has power, but when you say it through a megaphone, it reaches further and it's louder. So using music in that way, or to raise your vibration, can raise your vibration in terms of frequency. I also use tuning forks. Okay, I have tuning forks that I love to use. And what that is, what a tuning fork is, it's like this. It looks like that, and it has like a fork. It looks like a fork, but it only has two prongs. And when you hit it on the side, each one has its own vibration, and you can put it in different points in your body to tune that part of your body to that frequency. Okay, and that might be its natural frequency, or it's the frequency in which it's at homeostasis, and that can raise the vibration of whatever part of the body you're working with, as well as your overall aura. But yeah, we are frequency. Everything is frequency. Everything is vibration, and we can communicate with things in our environment, in our universe, using sound and vibration in any way that you can, whether that be your voice, an instrument, a tool. There are many options. Singing bowls.
Yeah, and see, and that's the thing is what most people don't recognize is that vibration is actually the organizing principle of the universe. So everything comes into being what it is through some type of vibration, or specifically some type of frequency. So that is really learning to understand that. That's where you really start to elevate more consciously, because you're able to tap into more subtle aspects of the universe when you can start to tap into your vibration and you're in tuning to different frequencies.
He wants to also know, did the commission use these tools?
Did the commission use, yes, crystals and stuff like that? Absolutely. So the pyramids are tools. So they use a lot of different things. So just ancients in general, they use crystals, they use stones, they use all kinds of stuff to that help to stabilize, elevate. I know one of the in in the Temple of Saqqara in Egypt. That is a whole temple that was built around vibration, okay, around sound and frequency. They had these things that they call healing niches, that literally they would have a person lay on a quartz, like a quartz bed, okay, and they would have the practitioner like look into these healing niches, these sound niches, and they acted like an MRI. Okay, so they would focus on that person, look into the healing niche, and they could literally see into that person's body. They could see the illnesses and stuff like that in the person's body. So yes, they use a lot of tools. A lot of tools. They were actually more advanced in medicine than we were, because we want to cut stuff off.
Right.
We want to cut stuff out. And they heal the body through vibration and sound. Okay. So great question. Great question.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Dad. My bad.
Okay. Melissa Landry says, how can we help heal the man and help him find his way back to his inner space? And Melissa, that's a great question. And a big part of it is just opening the space for a male to be able to do that, because you can't heal anybody, okay? But you can open the space for them to heal themselves. And you can open a space, you can communicate. That's one of the biggest things, communicate and give him the okay that it is okay to be emotional and feel, okay? And you will have a much more healthy and whole man when you allow him and he does feel safe and have the ability to do that. Guaranteed.
Yeah. Yeah. And for me, the way I've helped cultivate a safe space for emotional expression in my relationship is listening, allowing him to feel heard and seen, and let him know that his perspective is valid. And just because I feel or see it a different way doesn't invalidate his emotions. So I'm very careful to never invalidate the way he feels. And I'll ask questions to get to the bottom of it, or to help him understand it more as I'm trying to understand it more. And just once again, create a space for the energy to come out. Whatever's been, you know, that pinball machine, you just want to create a channel for that expression. So
Yeah.
listening, asking questions, being big spoon,
Yeah.
allowing to be, or I nurturing their inner child. Okay, nurturing the little boy within him, for sure.
Yeah, yeah, and just allowing him to be, and just allowing that man to understand that it's okay for him to be vulnerable. That's really what it comes down to.
Yeah,
It's okay for him to feel vulnerable
and
because
I
a
don't.
lot of times, and that's really not a male or female thing because a lot of times there are people that just don't want to be vulnerable. But that's where that emotionalism or that freedom comes is when you are able to feel safe being vulnerable with another person.
Yeah, and I always let him know that I appreciate him when he has been vulnerable or expressed something. Yeah, just let him know it's appreciated,
Yeah, yeah,
and then
absolutely,
the next time they'll feel more comfortable, and it'll just go like that.
absolutely, absolutely.
My girl Kayla, she said, "How do you know if how do I know if my inner garden is receiving my affirmations and positive thoughts? I am wondering if my inner environment is able to receive my desires, and if not, how can I make that space?" So if you're putting it out there, you can just trust that it's been received, and you want to just be attentive in terms of what you're putting out. So we're always putting out something, and we want to put out more of what we want and less of what we don't want. And so if you're doing that work, you can just rest assured and trust that you are being heard, and it's just cultivating, just watering those seeds. So when we try to look back and once again measure, is it growing yet? Did they hear me? It makes the processing longer. It reinforces the feeling of lack, because if we're looking back like it's not there, we're just, that's what we're putting out. So just to reassure yourself, just say, I know the universe hears me. I know I'm just, and just to clarify, this is what I want, and just put it out there like that, and then leave it alone. And then anytime you have doubt, just keep redoing that. Like, I know you hear me. This is what I want. Let me be clear about it. I'm gonna just say it again, just in case, and then let it go. And each time you do that, it'll be recentering yourself into the vibration that you want to emit.
Yep, yep, and this is the other thing too. My first thought is you're thinking that your inner environment does not receive your desires. Your desires come from the inside first. Okay. So your inner environment already has the desires. It's your mind that receives those. Okay. But you have to have the ability to allow what's in your inner environment because your inner environment already has that desire. Your inner environment can already knows how to connect to that desire. Your inner environment knows how to become what you desire, but it's our mind that ends up getting in the way and blocking things.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So
Yeah.
most definitely. Most definitely.
Cash App. Thank you, Frederick Johnson, for your Cash App donation. Much appreciated.
All right, all right, all right. Let's see. Just looking here, looking.
I'm married, but sometimes I find myself looking at porn to try different positions because the same old thing gets boring. Am I wrong for looking at porn? You be the judge of that.
Yeah.
You can
You
judge if
do
it's
good.
balanced, if it's, messing with you psychologically. Only you can judge, and it's based on your perception or your
Yeah.
perspective.
If it starts to impact your relationship negatively, then that's when it becomes wrong. But who's to judge you, on that? And I know that there are people that will, the people that look at it, but even porn itself comes from the aspect of there's something that's been bottled up that we're trying to get out. We're trying to get to see that's where the porn industry has come from because we've had such a negative view of sexuality. that is something, it's a dirty little secret that people are supposed to, like, have. So the porn industry rolls up out of all of that. But you're the one who decides these things for you. There's nobody that's going to tell. I can't tell you if it's wrong or not for your relationship. Now we can have this moral stance about porn if we want, but morality changes. So as society changes, morality changes. At one point, it was wrong for a black man and a white man to get married, a black man and a white woman to get married in the United States, or different races. That was a moral issue. Morality has changed.
Mm-hmm.
Laws have changed. All of that. So you decide for yourself.
Yeah,
You decide
judge
for
for
yourself.
yourself. I don't even like the word judge, but yeah.
Yeah, make your decision. Discern for yourself.
There we go. Discern. I like that.
Yeah, yeah. So Adrian gave $20. Thank you, Adrian. Definitely appreciate you. Definitely appreciate you. Most definitely, most definitely. All right, all right. And Danny H gave $9.99. Says thank you both for all your teaching and guidance. You're most welcome. You are
Yes.
most
Thank you,
welcome.
Danny.
Let's see. Okay, we've come up on about that time. So it's about that time. All right.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
April,
yeah.
April said she know that song, King's Affirmation. She said that's on her playlist.
Oh
Say,
yeah.
she know. That's my girl right there. See, April be knowing.
All right, all right, all right, all
So
right. Okay, so we are going to shut it down for this week. I want to let y'all know we got some things happening too. We're going to start a KCL community, a literal community where we can meet. Okay, where we can talk, where we can chat, where we can do all of that stuff. So, guys, it is coming, and it is coming soon. So get ready. It'll be free to join. But I want to have a place where we can have these conversations, not just more than once a week or whatever. So we got rooms that are getting started. So got the administrators in these rooms that are starting rooms and are going to be having conversations about different things. So get ready, guys. It's coming. It's coming. So we'll be letting you know real soon. So be looking. Be on the lookout.
yes,
Okay,
yes,
for when you can join. So when we'll open it up. All right. So
yes.
no, not Clubhouse, not Clubhouse. Actually, we have a community that is going to. So it's not going to be Clubhouse, but we're going to have it's going to be an actual community, so that we can have some conversations and stuff. So
Thank you,
looking forward.
Lisa. Yes, yes.
Lisa Moore, thank you very much. Heru Ma'at gave 500 something. I don't know what that is, but boy, you
DOP.
give a DOP. What's a DOP?
I don't know. Is that the Dominican? Is that Dominican or Senegalese? One of them. Close.
I don't
Maybe.
know, but thank you
Thank
anyway.
you. Yes.
Thank you.
Regardless,
We
thank you.
definitely
Thank you.
appreciate it. We'll take it. We'll take it. So,
Yes. Thank you to
yeah,
everyone who gave tonight. Much appreciated.
yeah. And Ra, the creator, and Dark Goddess, I need to get in contact with you guys offline at some point so I can talk to you about you guys interacting in this community too. So, let me. So let's see. Reginald at jointhekclfamily.com. Okay, that's my email. So hit me up there. So Reginald at jointhekclfamily.com. Okay, and then we can talk and see if you guys might be interested in that. So he says, yeah, it's Dominican. It says Dominican pesos equals about $10. So thank you very
All
much.
right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. I was right. Dominican. Okay.
All right, all right, all right,
Love you
guys.
all.
Well, love you all to
Enjoy
pieces,
your week. Yeah.
and y'all enjoy the rest of the week, and we'll see y'all next week. Okay, y'all
Yes.
have a good
Yes.
one.
Thank you, moderators. Good night, everyone.
As always.
Yeah.